Hey guys, welcome into the Poker Reborn channel. Guys, I'm very excited to announce that OverHype Studios has announced a new DLC, Blazing Deserts. This is, oh man, beyond what I could have asked for. Just a quick overview of what this video is going to contain. I'm going to read this stuff here. If you're only here just to see, hey, you know what, Blazing Deserts are here, well, congrats, and I will see you in the next one. Besides that, I'm going to go over exactly what it's telling us. This is all generalized, so there's no real, set in stone things that we absolutely know. What I'm going to ultimately do is I'm going to tell you what I believe this is going to be. Doesn't mean that it is, just for fun, guys. I'm a diehard Battle Brothers. If you caught me, there'd probably be a hedge knight that popped out of my skin. So, that's just how it is for me, and I love it. So let's get right into it. We're excited to announce that we're working on another DLC for Battle Brothers called Blazing Deserts. The focus of the DLC will be expanding and enriching the existing world with new land of burning deserts and lush jungles to the south. Across these lands, you'll find a unique culture loosely based on historic Arabian and Persian cultures of the medieval ages built atop the ruins of the ancient empire in the world of Battle Brothers. You'll find new lore and a different political system, equipment not seen anywhere else, and fresh contracts to earn your stay with. There'll be a late game crisis, new legendary locations, several new beasts roaming the wilds. This DLC will be our biggest one yet for Battle Brothers. You darn right it is. Are you kidding me? Let's go. Okay, I am hyped. Alright, now that that's over with, now if you're done with that, you don't need to hear anything else. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, let's continue. Again, so this Blazing Deserts DLC, I want to just say this out of the way. Everything I'm about to predict, I don't want you to take it to heart, because honestly, this is all prediction, and I am no scholar when it comes to the medieval ages of the Arabian culture or Persian culture. There are some various differences between the two, but I'm going to do my best to tell you what I think it means. So please don't beat me up. Please. Please don't. Alright, so besides that, and please let me know in the comments what you guys think too. If you agree, disagree, let's have a great discussion about it, you know? So first things first, a realm of independent southern city-states with their own lore, equipment, and services, as well as an entirely new character background to recruit. So let me just give you this, okay? Independent southern city-states with their own lore. This is, if you have to put the words into context here. Realm of independent. Okay, these are different. Anytime you play any game and stuff, they say independent city-states. You know that they come with their own culture, own way of living, and there's a lot of diversity. When we play Battle Brothers, you see a lot of towns that their diversity is it like a lumber camp type of city? Is it a, I'm just trying to think of some other ones here. Like, is it a riverside fishing community, if that makes sense? Do you understand? I hope you understand that side of it, because the characters match where they're at, right? But what this is saying is it's not just about the characters and what buildings are around. It's talking about legit, they have their own lore. That's big. I mean, seriously, that should be mind-blowing. This could be a lot more than what we're just simply reading here. So my thought on it is, when I look at these two characters here, I see two different cultures. Why? Well, I mean, you can put into context the colors of what he's wearing compared to what he's wearing. But I think they're trying to showcase the difference of, this would be Arabian, and this would be Persian to me. If I'm just throwing a guess out, right? Could be completely wrong. But I feel like there's a difference here, and we'll go over that in a bit. The new late game crisis will test the mettle of your company in the fires of religious turmoil. Okay, now religious turmoil, if we're talking about the Arabian cultures, we're talking about, you could put, the main thing is Islam. Okay, Islam was a huge part. Okay, the Golden Ages was huge for that Middle Eastern culture between these two. So, depending on how radical they're talking at this period of time, that could tell you a lot. The Golden Ages in itself, whoever had a lot of gold, whoever was, their jewelry was really, their armor was very extravagant, their colors were very extravagant. It was meant to show beauty and power. Anytime you look at the context of that time period, the Middle Ages and so on, that was huge. Power is big. I think it's kind of funny. I love the movie 300, and it reminds me of the Persian sitting upon his throne. He had so much random jewelry and stuff. It's not like he was going to just step off his pedestal and start beating up everybody. It's just alluding the power behind what it is that they're wearing, and it's really shown nicely in this picture, I feel. But moving on from that, the religious turmoil, it's got to be a people believing in something. Hence the prophecy fulfilled. If we come down here, they believe in a prophecy fulfilled, and to do so, they need to cleanse the world. So there's going to probably be a cleansing, and anybody who ever knows a prophecy fulfilled normally doesn't. It's not a good sign. That's not good. All right, so a gallery of company feats that grants permanent boons with which to customize your company to your playstyle as you progress through your campaign. I have no idea. I don't know what this is. When I read this, the first thing I think of is the traits. I believe that there's going to be a new trait or traits that you can gain. It's kind of like Davcool. If you have a Prophet of Davcool, they have like that. They have literally what it's called, the Prophet of Davcool. They have a upgrade to being a part of this clan. Again, this is just speculation, but I feel as if that's what it's going to kind of be like. If you join this thing, you will get these things, right? That's kind of how it works. But they could totally change it. It could be something totally different. Maybe you remember the whole magic element thing that I predicted in the last video. Maybe there's something like something that's a genie grants 3 wishes, right? There are signs, I want to say, like signs that can be inscribed on the body and can cause different abilities to that character. They do it in a lot of like anime shows and so on. Believe in natural powers and so on. It's a sign on their skin. Who knows? Who knows what it could be? Again, all predictions. The next part here. So a variety of new opponents with their own fighting styles, from exotic beasts to desert raiders and southern armies, quite unlike those in the north. If we go to the fact of the people in the north, or the barbarians in the north, they are awesome, right? They're fun. They're not awesome to fight within reason, right? They are fun to fight, but when they hit you, they hit hard. Ultimately, they are brutes and rusted armor that their weapons are made to get through to your health points, made to cause morale checks. Even though that some of these weapons, like the rusty axe, may not seem like the strongest weapon in the game, when it hits you, you're gonna get that bleed damage. If you put like poison behind it, it adds more to it. That's all strategy. I'll get past that. The point is with these guys, I believe that their style is going to be more tactical. And before I tell you what that will be, I'm going to skip ahead to this. New banners, weapons, armors, and helmets inspired by historic Arabian and Persian cultures of Middle Ages. Okay, this is the fun part that I want to dive into. Again, I've done a little bit of research, not a great. I've seen these weapons before, but I just want to get this out there. My prediction is this guy right here is a different culture than this guy. From independent states, city states. This weapon right here, in terms of whips, I wish I would have pulled it up here. I did find it earlier. But this type of weapon was used not as primarily a weapon. You could use it as a weapon. What it is it is a long two-handed whip. It goes like this, it curves, and it curves again. When they used this whip, it was used to move elephants. It was used to keep slaves in line and so on. They didn't just a lot of times you see the one-handed whips, but they actually made two-handed whips to do devastating damage. One whip from these things can break an arm. So my prediction with this is a whip, a two-handed whip. I believe it'll cause stun. it could cause stun. I believe it can cause daze, definitely daze. If you're not wearing armor, I believe that it can cause it can cause some damage to you. But ultimately, if you're wearing armor, it's not going to do a lot of damage to you. Maybe disarming somebody, that's a possibility. I could truly see this being a very unique weapon, and it talks about that here. It's their own unique weapon. Okay, so that's the first prediction on this. Obviously, you see the Scrimmasax here, or the Scimitar, I think it's, or Scimitar, Scrimmasax. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. But the Scimitar, for sure, this is the type of blade. Now, if we come in here, I'm just switching gears here a little bit, we can see that they have different type of weapons that are curved. We have that already in Battle Brothers. A lot of predictions prior was that the game was going to come out with a Southern DLC, but because we waited so long, it was just one of those things where it's like, why is this weapon even in the game if they're not going to throw more into it? Well, now we can see it a little bit better here. There's obviously the Scimitar here. I can go and show you. Obviously, we have that in the game, but I believe they're going to start making more Arabian-looking scimitars or Persian-looking scimitars. Ultimately, they are very similar. What makes this very interesting, though, if I go back, the weapon that I'm most excited to see is these daggers. These daggers were huge. I mean, you any game that puts you in this culture usually shows or uses this showcase. I'm trying to think. There was a game a while back that was time or something of time, something like you can alter time and so on. If somebody could remember that, put it in the comments. I can't remember what it's called, but anyways, I truly believe that that's what we're going to be getting into, is some sort of new mechanic with blades. These things were deadly because when they cut into you, when they pulled them out, it was such a clean cut that sometimes you wouldn't bleed, sometimes you would. But if you curve the blade and pulled it out, this is really weird information, but it is what it is. It was meant to make them bleed to death internally. So if you take that information, I believe that they're going to add bleed damage to their types of blades. Will they do a lot more damage? That I don't know. But it's a unique thing to the race itself. The next part I want to get into is the next weapon we can see in this video, which is a grenade. Guys, this is, again, a full prediction. I don't believe this is an actual grenade. It is a grenade, but it's not. It's more of a flashbang. In medieval times, these grenades, these hand grenades they called it, they would, when they used them, it wasn't meant to blast armor away. It wasn't meant for that. It was literally like a flashbang, and I think we adapted that today. Flashbangs, when they blew up, they would not cause armor damage, not a lot. But what it would do is it would daze and it would stun the enemy. So what do I believe this does? I believe it does that, just that. If your body is exposed, however, I do believe, because of how they were fashioned back then, when the explosion occurs, there is a possibility for shrapnel. So be prepared for that, because I truly believe they're going to announce that part. So yeah, again, this is just a quick look. I couldn't find a lot of pictures, but there is a history on these things. And obviously with this type of look, you can see that it's not far from the actual picture that you can see in this and right here. So it kind of looks more pine cone-ish, but again, they said it is based on. It's not going to be, it's like whenever somebody says in a movie that it's based on a true story, it's not a true story, folks. It's not. They're going to do what they're going to do with it. So don't take true based on to be true. They can only take like 5% and call it based on a true story, because it was at one time. The next part, this banner. Guys, this is a zoomed in picture again. I mean, we're going to see more of this. I would be willing to bet with somebody on YouTube here, $5. I'm not going to go too high. But I believe that we are going to show, it's going to show beasts on each side of here, and we're going to zoom out again. Because why wouldn't you showcase what they're saying, new banners? Okay? So this is up again, once again, it is a zoomed in picture. We haven't seen the whole thing yet. He's clearly going to attack something, and it's going to reveal what this weapon is. There's too much curvature for this not to be the weapon I was telling you. All right, let's finish this thing up here. New environments, both on the world map and tactical combat. Oh, sorry. One more thing. I apologize about this. The opponents that you're going to face, these 3 different opponents here, Exotic Beasts, Desert Raiders, and Southern Enemy or Armies, the uniqueness of them is going to follow suit. In terms of Exotic Beasts, I imagine it's going to be maybe some type of lizard. I believe it could be some type of plants. Obviously, jungles. When you think of a jungle, you're going to think of a, you could say like panthers, you could say leopards, you could say, you know, go on with however you want. You could even put hyenas in terms of deserts. Not that that's completely accurate, it's not. But the point is that you could put any of those things. But if I'm guessing based on the lore of German mythology, it's not German mythology, is it? Okay, well, maybe I'm still assuming that it's going to be some sort of lizard and maybe a man-eating plants. I could see some sort of plant life that comes back to life, whatever. And I do want to say at the end of the video, I'm not going to just cut it off. Please wait until the end. I do have one more prediction, big prediction, that does not affect this DLC, but does affect this game going forward. Finally, or not finally, new legendary locations and legendary awards. We have been waiting forever on that, I feel like. There needs to be more. I could see there being a blade. I could see there being a dagger, I should say. There could be gunpowder in this game. Who knows? What type of thing you could get? Maybe like some medallion of some sort. Because again, bedazzle. They love bedazzle, right? At least this culture was all about that. There was a lot of that. So who knows? Who knows what they're going to add? It's just nice to know we're going to have a lot more locations and new contracts, new events. There's got to be that. New crafting recipes for owners of the Beasts and Explorations DLC. And then finally, several new music, new music tracks from Breakdown Epiphanies. I don't know why I just spaced that. Breakdown Epiphanies to accompany you on your travels south. Obviously, everybody loves the Barbarian Northern DLC, the songs. I can't wait to hear what it's going to sound like south-wise. It's going to be very unique. All right. So rounding this video off, in addition to these major features, the DLC will also include countless smaller additions, just like in the past we'll explain all major features and most minor ones in the detail in future dev blogs as we go along, so you always know what we're working on and why. This is a big part right here. We expect to be finished sometime in the second quarter of this year, and we'll announce the release date and final feature list once we get closer to the finish line, alongside alongside the DLC, which will not be free. The game will be received in a sizable free update again. This update will contain a whole bunch of improvements, quality of life features, and balancing changes, as well as some minor content additions. Join us next week for our first dev blog on new DLC. Oh, let me breathe. This is awesome. For so long we thought it's like we've hit the wall. We didn't hear anything else after that update in August, and now we've gotten this massive thing. I truly believe that the map is going to grow, because after we get towards the south, we get past the tree line, we're going to get in. There has to be a transition into the jungle. The steeps that we already see, I think that's going to stay the same. Then it's going to be jungle terrain, and then finally the desert. So who knows what type of things they're going to add. But the very last thing I want to tell you guys, my final big prediction. This is my biggest prediction, and it's going to take probably a year and a half plus to get to. I truly believe that after this DLC, we're going to see Beast and Explorations number 2 DLC. Because there's too much map for them not to add those things. This game is going to prove that indie games like this can thrive and become a AAA type of game. This to me is one of the best games I've ever played in the first place. But for them to stick their necks out and do this, because this is a flip of a game, guys. This is a huge update, and it's going to add so many new elements. I can't imagine that it's going to stop here. So with that all being said, guys, if you like the content, please hit the like, subscribe, I got more content like this that I want to push out for the Battle Brothers community. I mean, again, you cut me, and if a hedge knight doesn't pop out at me, probably a lindworm would. I don't know if that's true either. That's kind of messed up. Either way, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.